What if I told you that this current state of identity loss you're feeling right now is truly the step before you become the more authentic version of yourself? You see, we live a big part of our lives as a persona, a performer. Not lying, just masking, protecting. We want to convey a particular image. You want to give off something to people. Maybe you want to have them see you as smart. Maybe you want to have them see you as strong, reliable, consistent, brave, whatever it is. Beneath that, though, exists pain. Pain in emotional knots that sit way below into the unconscious mind, where now they fester and live and exist. And over time, they become fragmented. We become disassociated. And then the ego will become more and more of our mode of living, which is only a fraction of who you fully are. But of course, if we have to avoid the pain within us, we can only do one thing: split from the soul and exist only in ego form. But identity loss often comes at a really interesting time. It shows up exactly at the right time, when everything we've been building up has finally started to crack. Its foundation is poor. And so the soul says, this can't go on. We cannot go on with this direction. We have to reevaluate. Which is why when we're in the state of identity loss, the ground is shaky. But the ground is shaky so that we can actually reorganize everything within us, or at least the things we need to contend with. You see, whenever we have any sort of trauma, any pain, anything in our lives that have caused us a heightened state of arousal, fight, flight, freeze, they can be captured in images, in words, in a story that gets launched deep, and then we decide to either contend with it or not. If we don't want to contend with it and bring it to our conscious awareness, we have to push it away. Put it into the closet. But understand that anything, even from my experience and the clients that I work with, anything that we push beneath the surface of our conscious awareness does not disappear. What really ends up happening is that it ends up into a tight knot of shadow power. This shadow can be, let's say you've had a poor experience with your father growing up. He wasn't there for you, didn't give you that feeling of protection, the feeling of guidance and wisdom. And so it left you angry, bitter. Maybe over time you're so tired of feeling those feelings you've had to completely separate from it. Repress this memory so you're no longer even aware of its existence. But when it ends up happening, no matter how much effort you put into that, it will project itself into something. It'll project itself into a relationship where now this individual, you have dumped onto them this insane standard. You elevate them to godhood. They're perfect. They'll never wrong you. I finally found that person. But of course, they're human beings. They're going to fault. They're going to misstep. And we find that shattering something within us. Either they break your reality or they turn into the enemy. Or we can dump this projection into an activity that we obsess because maybe it gives us a sense of comfort. Maybe it gives us a sense of purpose that we lacked. And so we obsess and we obsess. And to the point where we're now a prisoner of it. What ends up happening with a long enough time horizon, with anything pushed beneath the surface, it will breach past your ego, take control, and get you to do things and act and plan in ways you typically would not. It can warp and distort your future. And so the first step towards this recovery, to really moving towards a more elevated, authentic self, is to have the intention of doing the most important thing. The ego and soul must be integrated. And what do I mean by integrated? Number one, having this constant communication back and forth, leaving nothing unattended, no stone unturned. Number two, understanding that the areas of you that are bad, the areas of you that typically society will shun, are part of you, and we cannot reject them. We just need to understand how to work with them. And by that I mean shadow energy. Anger, if harnessed, can be wonderful fuel to move your business forward. But if you let it control you, it burns everything down. If you're a people pleaser and that archetypal energy takes over, perhaps it makes you the most empathetic, compassionate individual, and you can sense the pain of everybody around you without even having to talk to them. But then the downside, if you let it consume you, you are riddled with anxiety, pressure that you have to perform. You can never say no. You are a servant in perpetuity. And so these elements of us that we reject, they are yet also simultaneously the very thing that can move something forward, or that can correct mistakes, or it can expand your awareness. We just need to understand how to contain them, allow them to pass through momentarily, and you do not embody them. You have to respect this force and allow it to move and leave, and do not grab a hold of it, and allow it to elevate your ego to a state of inflation, which of course happens. A place of pain, if we're seeking power, we channel the anger and we channel the resentment, and we're able to make things happen, move forward, and it can elevate you, inflate your ego, change you, and turn you to something you do not want to become. Or maybe you do. Maybe you do. And that goes to my next thing. All the pains you've had have had a purpose. They've had a purpose in your life. By that I mean, when you've experienced something traumatic, and you've had to warp something within you, warp your perspective in order to make your reality safe, that is what you had to do. And it's really important not to shame, be angry, resent yourself for making such actions, because perhaps you needed to do that to survive, to let the soul survive. And that is okay. But perhaps you found this video today for a reason. Perhaps you found it because maybe now is the time to bring it forward and contend with it. Let go of old stories that don't serve you. Integrate the parts of you've been rejecting. And then now reimagine your life moving forward in a more authentic way. If this is something that spoke to you and you want to take it a step further, click that button below. It'll send you over to my website. Go ahead and sign up to my monthly newsletter. I'm also going to send you my 3-step identity rebuilding guide as a toolkit to help you navigate through the time of identity loss and help you rebuild purpose, rediscover who you truly are, and move towards an ego-soul integrated lifestyle. If that's something that speaks to you, this is the community for you. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next video.